we're going to talk about classifying rational numbers. Okay? Our essential question is, how can you classify rational numbers? Well, to show you that, I want to first show you an example where biologists in the past have been classifying animals based on shared characteristics. And I have this little diagram here that shows you if I wanted to classify this little fellow over here, well, I would have to do some steps to do that. So first of all, we would classify him as a vertebrate, which is an animal with a backbone. Then we would move from there to a cold-blooded animal, because you and I are warm-blooded, and this little fella is a cold-blooded animal. Then he would be classified as a reptile. And once we make that classification, he would be a lizard. And then finally we would move from the lizard down to the horned lizard, which is our little fella. So that's how biologists have been doing it in the past. They've been classifying animals, and they still do this. I constantly see where we're finding new species of animals. So, but you may be asking yourself, well, Mr. Bell, what does this have to do with numbers? Well, there are ways that mathematicians have been classifying numbers as well. So something you should know about and have learned about over the past is whole numbers. And whole numbers are basically non-negative numbers, okay, which include 0. And that is, one of the first classifications you learned about as a child. Well, then the next classification, something we just talked about recently, is integers. And you can see in this little picture here, integers, this is a -5. Now we just learned about integers, and integers are whole numbers and their opposites. So the whole number 106 that you see there on the screen, its opposite is an integer, which is -106. But they're both actually part of the integer family, but just -106 is not a whole number. Okay? And then finally, we go from whole numbers to integers to rational numbers. Now, rational numbers are numbers that include whole numbers and integers, and they can be written as a fraction as long as the denominator is not 0. Okay? And you notice I have an example here, 5/7, that's a fraction, but look over here, I also have -4/10. Okay? So that lets you know that rational numbers are also numbers that are decimals, integers, and whole numbers. So 106 is a rational number, -5 is a rational number. All these fit into what we consider rational numbers.